This is Site C. It used 6 times the concrete to build the Burj Khalifa. It's going to power a city the size of Dallas with electricity for 100 years. And it's going to kill 5,000 acres of agricultural land while uprooting indigenous communities and eradicating 100 species of plant and wildlife. Is it worth it? Well, let's discuss it in today's episode. In 2015, construction on the third dam on the Peace River in the northeast of British Columbia began. Site C garnered quite a bit of controversy over the years. The major dam is expected to be completed sometime in late 2024. The dam will give BC about 1,100 megawatts of dependable capacity. Over the course of a year, the dam will generate 5,100 gigawatt hours. That's enough to power 450,000 homes, roughly a city the size of Dallas, Texas. If we look at Canada's electricity generation charts, we can see that around 60% of the electricity generated comes from hydro energy. The remaining 40% is split rather equally among nuclear, natural gas and other sources. Other than China and Brazil, Canada is the third largest hydropower producer in the world. In 2022 alone, they produced 393 terawatt hours. The Site C dam will increase this production capacity to 8%. To achieve this tremendous production capacity, Canada operates 475 hydroelectric power plants. So you could say that Canada has quite a bit of experience constructing major hydroelectric dams. When constructed, the Site C dam is going to be 1,000 meters, 3,300 feet long, 500 meters or 1,650 feet wide, and with a height of 60 meters or 180 feet, this dam will contain 16 million cubic meters of earthfill material. Now, some of the earthfill was excavated on the construction site, while other materials had to be carried on a 5-kilometer long conveyor belt. This was done because British Columbia wanted to build a dam that could withstand an earthquake that happens every 10,000 years in the region. Once completed, the dam's reservoir would be roughly half the size of Washington, D.C. It's so large that the Peace River will need 4 months to fill it up. Once operational, the dam won't stop production of energy for the next 100 years. At the start of the project, it was estimated that the dam would only cost 6.6 billion Canadian dollars, about $5 billion, but their price ballooned to over 16 billion Canadian dollars or $12 billion over the years. And speaking of their beginnings, in the middle of the 20th century, BC Hydro proposed building 4 hydroelectric dams on the Peace River, known as the Peace River Dams. The first, the W.A.C. Bennett Dam, started operation in 1968, and the second, Peace Canyon Dam, was finally completed in 1980. But then problems arose. After numerous hearings between 1981 and 1983, the British Columbia Utilities Commission turned down the third, Site C dam, as well as the fourth. As a result, BC Hydro began buying energy from independent producers, and it's been doing so to this day. However, the Clean Energy Act of 2010 aims to change all of that. When they passed the law, they practically barred the BC Utilities Commission from reviewing the project, and as a result, BC Hydro was free to seek funding for the project. Despite the initial warnings from the BC Utilities Commission that BC Hydro didn't account for energy prices at the time, the federal and provincial governments approved the project in October 2014. By December of that year, the government of British Columbia greenlit the project, which meant that construction would freely begin in 2015. After the 2017 review of the BC Utilities Commission, they said that the government would need to spend an additional $1.8 billion. But because cancelling the project would have been more costly than continuing, because of the $4 billion sunk cost, the local government continued construction. After 8 years of hard work, the Site C dam finally began filling up its reservoir in August 2024. If the 4-month filling period is respected, then the artificial lake will be operational by December. To build the dam, the Canadians used 1.68 million cubic meters of concrete. They used roller compacted concrete into 3 different buttresses to build this massive structure. Of the 4 roller compacted concrete dams in Canada, Site C will be the largest by volume, measuring 2.2 million cubic meters. To put that into perspective, the Site C dam used 6 times the concrete to construct the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. If you were to take the 3 major buttresses and put them together, they would be 800 meters long and 70 meters wide. This massive concrete block is the reason the Site C dam will be able to withstand a cataclysmic earthquake. But as the Site C dam nears completion, critics of the dam, including political figures like Joyce Hawkins from the Narwhal indigenous groups and even environmental activists, point out the major problems that could arise in the coming years. For 30 years, the the locals have been bombarded with reasons to flood 50,000 acres of the Peace River Valley. This land was suitable for agricultural production and was home to a diverse ecosystem of plants and animals, but alas, it's going away. They're going to destroy agricultural land that could feed 1/4 of British Columbia's population, or 1 million people. To make matters worse, this dam will forever ruin the habitat of 100 different species of birds, mammals, butterflies and plants. And the negative effect of the Site C Dam would be felt around 1,000 kilometers downstream.